everybody, my name is B. Welcome back to the channel. This is late enough as it is, so without further ado, my favorite songs of 2025. Let's go. So sweet, like a peach gelato. I'm not sure if this is gonna be audible or not. Hopefully it won't be, but I've got my cat on my lap and he's purring, so if there's background noise, that's what it is. Anyway, peach gelato. I didn't anticipate peach gelato to end up on this list at all when I first heard it, mainly because it's so short, but it was such an intrinsic and important part of my summer playlist that I had to include it. Chen doesn't really release the type of music I would like him to release. I just love his voice so much. I'm pretty sure he could sing me his grocery shopping list and I'd still be totally fine with that. Yep. Fine. And in case you're wondering what that was, my cat just heard the word fine, thought I was praising him, and started cuddling up to my hand, which obviously holds my phone. So, that's what that is. New Car's music video is ridiculous, but it's oh so charming. They go on a Google Street View road trip. Plus, I really like the retro theme. Soojeong's voice fits it well, and they went all in with the synths. They are very 80s to me. Hit You Up has such a nice progressive build-up throughout the entire song. The first chorus is still fairly understated, and then every subsequent one builds on top of that first one until you end up with this big grand finale with multiple audio tracks stacked on top of each other. Plus, at the very end, some of the synths have an effect on them that's very crunchy. It sounds almost like pizzicato, except they're not real instruments, so it's not real pizzicato, but it's very interesting. I like the contrast of the very floaty sounding SOS on top of this extremely energy driven and quite fast instrumental. Also, there's pauses, and pauses are always superior. I don't know what it is about ITZY's more emotional songs, but I tend to really like them. I liked Bet On Me when that came out, and I like Promise now that it has come out. I'm not usually the biggest fan of JYP's half air, half singing technique that ITZY has also been directed to use, but I guess in the more emotional songs, it really works for me. I have a hard time with anniversary releases. I don't like the typical sound that they're going for. So Crazy was honestly just a nice surprise. It really subverted my expectations. Love Hangover has a fantastic music video. It made me chuckle so much. But I also really love the song, especially Jennie's line delivery. Whenever she's soft-spoken but sassy at the same time, like, oh shit, I did it again. I love those parts. 10 is an amazing soloist. He's one of my favorites, and Stunner is a fantastic song, especially in isolation. In context, I do wish there was a little bit more variation. So far, his title tracks have been very similar stylistically, so I'm hoping that on his next album, he's gonna try out something different. You is just such a stupidly cute song. I really enjoy the wordplay. It's adorable. I don't know what else to tell you. I love it. Blind Eyes Red is such a wonderfully intriguing song. I really like the musical symbolism of it as well. You know, that she's his masterpiece, but her blinded eyes are red, and then you have the distortion on that second part of the chorus. The lyrics just tie into the music so well. Joy's voice is such a good match for this light, breezy waltz, plus any deviation from the standard 4/4 time signature is always such a treat. Cinny Cinny is another very atmospheric song that also takes its time, but with a totally different feeling to it. I always associate this retro vibe with Stranger Things, if that makes sense, especially because the instrumentally based intro sounds a little bit like tuning into a radio station. It makes for a very interesting start to a very interesting song. Baby, Overkill is extremely moody, is extremely broody, and kind of reminds me of being 13 and filled with existential dread, which is a nice feeling to revisit for 2.5 minutes, especially because by the end of the song, you can just leave it all behind again. I still don't know whether or not I like Bebe. Whisper singing is not my thing at all, and the chorus is right at that edge of being maybe too much, but I did listen to this song a lot, so at the very least it's intriguing. Come Over is incredibly fun, it's so catchy, I love the retro theme, but I need people and hype to realize that yes, it is possible to release proper songs that are longer than 2 minutes and include things like bridges and instrumentals and intros and outros and other fun things, because I'm dying over here. Red Sneakers is finally a song with a proper bridge and a proper instrumental break, and I'm not really surprised that in this music economy we needed a remake album for that to finally happen. Get Up and Dance is a song that really allows Joy to play around with her voice, try out different singing styles and approaches, and I've enjoyed it for the massive serotonin boost that the song is. You always be my Valentine. Blue Valentine is the first NMIX song I've actually enjoyed every second of, which finally, I've waited so long for that to happen and I'm so happy it finally did. I only hope that NMIX is going to continue on this upward trajectory throughout this year, because obviously yes, I want them to succeed, but also selfishly I want them to release lots of new songs that I can actually enjoy. Rhapsody is a stand-in for Jejong's 2025 releases because I like them for similar reasons. I obviously love his voice, but I also like that he tried out rock, which is not a genre a lot of K-pop releases feature, and I like how energetic and driven his songs sound. I've been waiting for love like this. Love Like This does include the almost customary high notes at the very end of the song, but I feel like the focus for all is much more Boa's middle register almost, which I find so refreshing, oftentimes because fans associate high notes with like, ooh, amazing singing abilities. Companies like to feature those. High notes are a highlight for sure, but sometimes I feel the lower register of especially female artists gets so neglected because of that I really just liked that Love Like This doesn't do that. Also, the chorus is just so beautiful. I love singing along to it. I have such a hard time when it comes to Rich Man and rankings. I love this song, but I love the original instrumental and I kind of love aespa's line delivery, and that's where it gets complicated because I'm not a fan of the instrumental aespa's version uses, but both of these versions have become so muddled together that they're kind of one entity, even though that's not at all true, and it makes it so complicated to rank this song. It's ridiculous, and the song is also kind of ridiculous, and I love it, and that's why it's here. Yes, I'm saying yes. Unless you count Golden, I don't think we had the one universally acknowledged summer song. My personal summer song was definitely Yes. It was stuck in my head so many times and I played it so many times, and I'm not at all mad about that. Fever is a good example of what I have come to associate with Yuno's music. Yuno often releases music that creates a very mysterious, very thoughtful atmosphere that is almost cinematic. Fever once again falls into this particular category, especially at the very end once all of the different backing vocals and background noises start to appear. I wonder what you're doing for tonight and forever. Jennie had a lot of very interesting collaborations on Ruby, but my personal favorite is Handlebars. Both Jennie and Dua Lipa are of equal importance, and they both get to shine. Too Close, Too Close is like catnip to me. I love the piano as an instrument always, but whenever it plays staccato, it's even better. Sampling and interpolation is the top thing that I associate with IVE. They've pretty much always done this, and to varying degrees of, I don't want to say success, but rather my own liking. And You Wanna Cry is a stellar example of one of the cases where I think they did extremely well. I truly love what they did with the original song. No one can be Whitney Houston, so I like that they didn't even try and instead subverted the expectations by giving the song an entirely different vibe. October 4th is a song with such a lovely atmosphere that I found it extremely easy to relax to the song. Oddly specific, but on my way home, there is one traffic light that is always red. In Your Love, there's this line, "Your love feels like there's only green lights driving home." That hits so hard because whenever that one stupid light is green, and I think it's been green like 8 times throughout my entire life, the elation that I feel is immeasurable. Maybe that's a stupid connection, but I love this song so much for it because I was immediately like, yes, I can get that. That is me. And Jisoo is my bias in Blackpink because of her vocal tone, so that helps too, but like that line made the entire song for me. Poet Artist was probably the most emotional moment of 2025 musically to me. Jonghyun is my bias, and even if he weren't, what Poet Artist represents is so incredibly precious. The emotional impact of this song is hard to overstate. See, this is why making these favorite lists can be hard sometimes, because how can you just describe the different shades of joy all of these songs give you? Evergreen, to me, feels bubbly and happy and light, just as much as Cuban as an artist does. She reminds me of the more singer-songwriter artists like IU, for example, and I'm very excited to see what she's going to do in the future. You know the beat keeps lagging, my voice keeps lagging. Murmur was a lucky find. During 2025, I listened to a bunch of albums just front to back randomly whenever I had the time, and in some cases that worked out incredibly well for me. In Murmur's case, I especially love that the piano is used as a rhythm instrument. Six is admittedly not a group that I'm very familiar with, so I don't know who we just listened to, but I absolutely love his voice, especially on a song like Thunder that just builds and builds and builds. Praying is a very atmospheric song, which I always love. I love atmospheric songs, but more than that, I think Praying is a very good continuation of Seulgi's artistic identity, and I'm interested in seeing how this is all going to play out for her in future releases. And here we have it, my favorite song of 2025, my song of the year, Lisa featuring Doja Cat and Ray, Born Again. When I first listened to Born Again in February, I strongly suspected that this might end up being my song of the year, and I'm absolutely not mad about that. Not only is this essentially the perfect collaboration, but the instrumental is also so intricate and beautiful. There are so many little details that tie back into the theme of the song. I am genuinely in awe and in love. And that's it. I really had the most terrific fun making this video. Listening to all those songs again was amazing. There is, however, a slightly less amazing statistic tied to this. During 2025, I listened to 183 albums, start to finish, and if we postulate in a gross underestimation that every album consisted of 5 songs, that means I listened to 915 songs released in 2025. And out of those, I like 35 enough to put them here. That's around 4%, which is genuinely tragic and has affected my enjoyment quite a bit. Why am I telling you this? Truthfully, I just thought it was interesting. I did make the executive decision not to do the same thing this year, but it won't affect the channel. As always, if you have any questions or comments, let me know. I'll see you next time, hopefully sooner. Bye!